Hello, 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 and welcome everyone. How are you today? We are in the house for a treat that I'm trying to tell you, you don't want to miss. Welcome back to another Hosting Brilliance show. We have such an amazing guest today. So I need you all right now to go and share this out. I need you to make sure that you get your pens and your papers and you are ready to go to a brand new level. Yes, we are creating winning classrooms for winning lives. I'm Robin Queen, Queen Educator. I am your host of Hosting Brilliance, and we want you to create a winning life. And so we have our guest today. We have Pastor Ayana Robinson Dixon. Say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody.
We are so happy to have you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Very excited.
Yes, I'm so glad to have you here. And I just want to let you all know right out the gate that Pastor Dixon has a podcast, and I was on there. I need you to go support her podcast, not just me being on there, but support her podcast because it is so amazing. You will be blessed even more.
Thank
So, talk to us. Where do you come from? Where are you from?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I am in Charlotte. I've been in Charlotte, North Carolina for 16 years.
Hmm.
Um, Before that, I lived in the DMV area where I went to school, went to Howard University, but originally from New Orleans.
Okay.
But my husband and I met at a housewarming in the DMV area, and he's from Charlotte, so got married, moved to Charlotte, started a family, and so been here ever since.
Okay, now. Well, that's wonderful because I'm now in the DMV area. So when you come to visit, let's connect.
Definitely, we're gonna do that for sure.
Yes. Well, we have you here today, and our title for our show today is Unleashing Potential, Walking Alongside Others on the
Mhm.
Path to Self-Discovery. And I just want to know why is that important?
I think for me, I believe that it's important because we are not meant to do life alone.
Hmm.
We are designed to be a people of community. And I truly do believe that part of our self discovery happens when we are in community, when we are with others. So I believe that's the most important thing is that connectedness, that community, that being able to relate to other people, to have someone walk alongside you is part of the unfolding of discovering who we are as people.
That's beautiful. That it's beautiful and it's so needed. I mean, there's a lot going on, and especially in our schools and our
Mhm,
families, and we're trying to raise children and trying to
mhm,
manage lives and bills and relationships and families, and it is overwhelming. And I've had many people who just gave up, or I've known many people who just gave up or
mhm.
want to give up. And what do you say to that? Thinking about your story, your journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure your listeners, your audience can relate. We've all gone through things that make us second guess and wonder if we can take another step forward. Um, I can think of many instances in my own life where I didn't know if I was going to make it. But again, because it was just maybe that one person or those two people, right when I needed to hear it, had a word of encouragement, or right when I needed to feel it, had a warm hug or just a smile. You never know what it's going to be that's going to just make people decide, you know what, I think I'm going to hold on. It might not always be huge and profound. It might just be a simple act of kindness that will help people to make the decision that, I'm just going to take another step forward.
Mm. Wow, I think that's beautiful, and I'm glad that we're starting that way because I feel like we need that right now. We're
Hmm.
going into a new school year for many. Some people might have already started,
Yes.
um, it makes me think about like, okay, to get grounded. What would you say is the best way to get yourself grounded so that you can um, get into a space where you can walk along that path of getting to your best self, or what would you say, just the foundation, just period?
Well, I can speak to my experience. For me, it's understanding that there is someone greater than me.
Mm.
There's someone greater than me that has a divine plan for my life, and he has all the answers. And that's what helped me to be grounded, because, people we're searching for so much, but we're limited. We're limited in our knowledge, we're limited in our wisdom, in our understanding. But for me, is knowing that my creator had a plan for me before I was even born, and knowing that I'm special to him. And everyone that's listening, God, you are special to our creator. He's special. You're special in his eyes. And there's something important for each of us to do. And I think just having that as your foundation can help you start on that path of self-discovery.
Mm. Thank you for that. This is the perfect season for you to be on the show, because we are talking about family, schools, and community educators, and people who bring awareness to how we must build a bridge and have that collective and collaborative practice in our families, our schools, communities, and improve them. And so I honestly believe you are the perfect person right now at the right time. And just like you just said, you never know who needs to hear this. So somebody that's listening right now, hi visitors, hi guests, how are you? I really believe that you are here for a purpose, and you are really here to see the smiles, hear the story, get the encouragement today. So we invite you to write in the chat, share your prayer requests if you have prayer requests, share your fears, and you can even private message us, because we really want to take this time in this school year, in the start of the school year, and in our families to really get grounded. And Pastor Dixon, talk to us a little bit about what you do and why you are just in the work that you're in right now and the mission that you're in right now.
Absolutely. So there are a few things. My hands are in a couple of places right now. I have a learning center in Mint Hill, which is just outside of Charlotte. It's a Kumon Math and Reading Center. So it's a year-round after-school program where we help students with math and reading. So when school is in session, when school is out of session, we're helping students increase their confidence, help them with their skill set, provide them with the support that they need. We're able to spend time on concepts that they might be struggling with. So I'm doing that. In addition to that, my husband and I, Pastor Methuselah Dixon, and I lead Agape Global Ministries, which is now in Kannapolis, North Carolina, which is outside of Charlotte. We recently moved to Kannapolis, and this is where we are teaching and preaching the word of God, loving on people, sharing the love of Christ with the world is what we're doing. Where we're encouraging each other, walking alongside people, reminding them of who they are, providing them with support and love. So we're doing that. We're located at 1945 Old Earnhardt Road in Kannapolis, for those of your audience that's looking for a loving church home. Outside the Charlotte area, we'd love to have you. So we have that going on. And then we have within Agape Global Ministries is the Circle 31 International Women's Ministry, which is where the podcast comes from. And there we're, sharing stories of women such as yourself, Queen, and other women who are divinely inspired, who love God, who are doing wonderful things with their lives, and just hoping that their stories inspire others. So there's, those are the multiple touch points that we have that we're doing right now.
Wow, that's a lot, and it's beautiful. I love it. I love how it all flows together, and there's a mission behind it. There's a passion and purpose behind it. Talk to me about your story a little bit and your journey of how you got here and got to walk so boldly into your mission and ministry.
I would say it probably started when I was a little girl, and my grandmother, made me go to Sunday school, made me go to church, sat me there, just introducing me to the things of God. And then as I got older, my mom would make sure I would go to church. But it wasn't just the activity of going to church, but it was trying to find out, if we're talking about self-discovery, who am I? I had those questions. I could look around my family and see this sea of beautiful people and people that I loved and admired. But then when I looked at myself, I'm like, who am I, and why did God create me? So I always, for a while had that question in my heart and mind, and just went through life. And Just nothing, extraordinary, did things that, kids do, went to high school and, went through college. And I would probably say my last year of college, I started to just really go into a just deep depression. I think it was just because for me, transitions have always been hard for me. When I moved from New Orleans to DC to go to college, that was a tough transition. It was the first time I'd ever been away from home, but, meeting new friends, being on, Howard's campus, meeting, people from all around the world, I was able to kind of transition into that easily. But here I was, my senior year of college, about to transition out. And I just started to feel, just anxiety and worry. And by that time, my family had moved from New Orleans to Northern Virginia, just outside of DC. So I, moved in with them after I graduated and just was trying to figure out, who am I? And I remember after graduating, getting a job and doing all those things, I was, had my little schedule, working out, doing all those things, but still felt an emptiness. And it's just my story, but I just felt an emptiness inside. Like I have all of the boxes are checked, but there's still something missing. And I remember walking through a bookstore, looking in the spirituality section. Now, this is, of course, I was, my family made sure I was in church, but there's a difference between going in the building and having an encounter with the living God, right? So I was looking for something. I knew something was missing. And I remember my parents had just started going to this church, and my mom would, she would knock on my door every Sunday morning and say, come with us, to church. And I'd be like, no, I'm good. Don't worry, I'm good. She'd come every Sunday morning, let's go to church. And this one Sunday, I just decided to go with her to Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. And the pastor at that time was Pastor James Graham, and he was preaching a message. And I was like, it was something about the words that were coming out of his mouth connected with me. So what I would do was, I was still trying to like avoid God in some ways. So I would wait. I knew when the preacher got up to preach, so I would bypass all the music and everything. And when it was time for the preacher to get up, I would go. But one particular Sunday, I did that. And when I timed myself to walk in when the message was being preached, the message was so in my mail. It was so like on point, on exactly what I was feeling, what I was going through. I knew that God saw me in that moment. And that's when I stopped playing around with God and decided, okay, I'm gonna just go all in with this thing. And from that moment, it was just like God lit a fire inside of me. And I think that's where the call that it started to, develop a little bit. And at the same time, while that was going on, my mother was making a transition from corporate America. She was very successful in corporate America, had climbed the corporate ladder, extremely brilliant lady. She had my brother, who was 13 years younger than me at the time, was looking for some help for his math. He would need help with some math, and he found a coaching center. So she enrolled him into this coaching center. She fell in love with the program and made a decision that she was going to leave her corporate job.
Wow.
An educator, right?
Oh,
so that was going on while God was dealing with me, right? And so she left corporate America, bought a command center, and then eventually I started helping her. So my call to serve God by sharing the message with other people and to help children, they both started like at the same time.
Ooh, I'm getting chills right now. I'm getting chills. That's so powerful. I'm a firm believer that nothing really just happens for a reason. God cares about us. He cares about our stories. He cares about the hurt we feel. You just really went through and so beautifully described your journey without like you probably have stories for days, but God is so beautifully put. Like to understand. Wow, I'm trying to develop as a person. While I'm developing as a person and trying to get a space for myself, like where do I fit? Your family is going through something that is connected to you. You're learning, and like, this is beautiful self-discovery, but then through your family, but then through faith, but then God's orchestrating all of it so beautifully together. And it really does just lead me to, the mission that we have, for my business. I'm on a mission to really help people understand what education means.
Mhm.
It's not this is just a little piece of it, but you like it's going beyond a teaching a concept. But you were educated even in those modes. Like God allowed you to learn
Yeah.
there about your mom was successful in business, so you have a successful business, like, right? You know that the business realm of things. You know how to wait, pause, push that aside. Wait, what about family? Let me make sure I take care and really help my, be creative and create and craft some learning experiences through the Kumon Center. Like there's so many things there, and I love this. I love your story. I love. What do you think about this idea of how we educate? How do you educate, and what do you think about that?
No, I think this is extremely relevant because it says here to go beyond teaching a concept or curriculum and reach into the delicate future of an individual or group of individuals to
Mm,
creatively craft a relevant and rigorous success pathway with learners. I think my favorite word in this is reach.
mm,
Being able to extend ourselves
yes.
beyond ourselves
Whew.
for someone else. And I think this is in this day and age when it's so easy to become just so self-isolated and self-focused in me and mine. And it's so important to remember to reach forward, to reach backward. We always should be reaching. So I think that's the word that really stands out for me in this. And I really completely love this.
Whew.
Absolutely.
Listen, I love what you just said. Thank you, and I love what you just said. And I don't think I caught the last part to write it really fast. But y'all go back on the replay. I need y'all to get that. Extend ourselves beyond ourselves.
Mhm.
Whew. It's not common.
It's not common. It's not common. It's something that we should remind each other of. It's just the way that, things are these days. We just have to remember, don't forget about other people. Don't forget about the people around you that just looking to your right or your left, someone needs what you have.
Someone
And
needs.
sometimes, we're going through things. It's very easy because we all are living this life, and it's easy for us to get distracted or discouraged by our issues and our problems. And I'm not saying our problems are not, there are problems need to be addressed. But when we start to extend ourselves and reach and extend ourselves to other people, and as we begin to help other people, we never know how that solution that we need will come. And also in addition to that, it provides us with peace. It provides us, be able to focus on the needs of other people. And as we are serving others, those things that we need will be taken care of. So
Mm.
it's quite important.
Whew. It really is. It's very important. And how important is it, when we think about what we had to go through? Because I one of the questions I like to ask is have you had a teacher or an educator, and already you shared a little bit about like your mom,
Yeah.
but has there been a teacher and educator that has impacted your life?
Yeah, I would say there's maybe a couple. I would say all the way back to my preschool teacher,
Wow,
and
yeah.
that was ages ago. But Miss Joyce, I think, was just the first example in the classroom that I can remember of someone that just loved her kids and wanted us to learn and just wanted to provide a safe environment. I could think of my first grade teacher, Miss Whiteley, although I used to get in trouble in her class for talking too much. And I used to have to write, I will be quiet 100 times every once in a while. I've lost a few recesses. But Miss Whiteley was another great educator. And then when I think about high school, I think about my biology teacher, Miss Newberger, who just had a love for us and a love for learning and just wanted us to do well and wanted to make sure we understood everything. And she just loved what she did.
Mm.
And then all the way up through college, one of my college professors, Dr. Elizabeth Clark Lewis at Howard, just to me the epitome of just grace and just an educated woman who just wanted the best for her students. So there are just so many people along the way that just, I just thank God for placing them in my path.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I want to put back up on the screen. Shout out to those great educators who really do, embody how to educate and work towards doing that. It's not always perfect, and we learn as we go at times. But in our world, and Pastor Dixon, you can probably really attest to this. In our world, we don't always have educators that educate from the heart.
That's true.
And it's sad, and our children do suffer. But at the end of the day, like you said, God is with us. So I
Yeah.
like to lay that foundation. You want to say a little bit more about maybe an example of how we can educate from the heart?
Yeah, I would say, we have to remember that our children are not inconveniences. They're little people. They're people with feelings. And though they may not have as much life experience as we do, we should definitely see them and not discount them
Mm,
and listen, and provide guidance.
yeah.
I feel like right now there might be some parents that are in a place that they may be afraid in some ways, to parent their children. Perhaps maybe some people, because of the way that they grew up, they said, you know what, I never want to treat my children that way. But I think sometimes we overcorrect,
Mm,
and we don't want to do what happened to us, but then our children don't have what they need. Our children need us as their leaders. They
mm,
need us as their covering. They
yeah.
need us as their protectors. For us, we need to be a source of wisdom for our children. So they know there's some decisions that children are not equipped to make, even if they feel like they are. They still need a voice of a parent, of a mentor to speak into them and to
Mm,
help give them guidance and teach them how to make their own decisions. And I feel like sometimes, we either want to shove them out of the way, or just, you're just a kid, not remembering that in about, 10 years or 15 years, this 30 years, maybe this child may be making decisions for you. So I think just having that in mind, that this is, that these children we're really, cultivating them and loving them and pouring into them for what's coming ahead. And
yeah.
just having that respect, and the fact that, yes, I know you're a child, but as a human being, I respect you. I'm not going to dishonor you, but I am going to give you guidance when you need it. I'm going to give you correction when you need it. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth in love, but I'm also going to share with you based on the wisdom that I've gained over the years. So I just think, from the heart, and, teaching from the heart, taking care of our kids from the heart means seeing them for who they are and valuing them as human beings.
Thank you for that. You're spot on. I appreciate that. I sometimes wish that people would stop and say that, like, we've got to have the balance.
Yeah, that,
I know we want to say, like, I don't want that to happen to me, but sometimes we miss. And I literally was just thinking and praying about this like a while ago. I was like, I wish that I can help parents and families understand that, yes, we do want to shift some things. Not everything was, back in the day was the way it is now,
right.
but there are some gold back, you know what I mean, ways that we do need to raise and support our children. It's some solid things that did help us to be who we are today.
Exactly.
And my grandmother used to always say, you know what, we're going to take in the meat, and that's in the scripture too, take in the meat, spit out the bone.
That's it.
How do we get there? How do we do that? So I really appreciate your insight, your wisdom, your knowledge. I love your mission, and I'm going to put it up here on the screen, and you can speak to it a little bit, and your message.
Mhm.
And I love how you talked earlier about this. So let's see that. There we go. Everyone, there you go, has something valuable to contribute to the world. And so when you say don't just bypass our children and just like they have something to contribute to the world at that stage in their life,
That's it.
right? Say
Absolutely.
more about your message.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I like how you said it. Like, when we encounter that child at that point in their lives, we never know what they need from us. So it's just best to just go ahead and give freely. give openly, give with love, and share, because that peace that they're meant to get from you is going to help them as they continue to grow and mature and to walk in who it is that they were created to be. So just along the way, as the Bible says, one plants and another waters. We all have a different purpose in everyone else's life. And meeting someone when they're a child is an honor. It's a privilege, because you have an opportunity to be a blessing, to share something that you've experienced, to remember what it was like when you were a child, and to provide something that perhaps maybe you didn't receive. You have an opportunity to give that to someone else, and then someone else can recount you and say, oh yes, I remember this lady, she was so kind to me, and her kindness that day allowed me to be able to believe in myself, allowed me to be able to pursue my dreams, allowed me, even though things were rough at home, this educator, this teacher, this person in the classroom was my soft place to land. So we should never overlook it. It's an honor and a privilege to work with children.
It is. And I love how you talked a little bit in pre-show around, your journey, how education has always been something that has you've made a top priority. And I want you to talk a little bit about how you kind of weave everything together. And with your love of learning, your love of helping people, we talked a little bit about that, your love that comes from your mother and her story, and how that leaves legacy to your story, and really help us to understand, an audience to understand, how family, community, education, how that all, like, we all play a role, like everybody, just like our business here, everybody is educating.
That is such a great question. I think that for me, and perhaps for everybody listening, education is such a key component of our lives. And, it is something that we experience in every realm, not just in the classroom. So we're constantly learning. And as we are learning, as we're learning more about the world around us, we're also learning more about ourselves. And as it relates to me and how all of this ties together, as I briefly mentioned before, my mother, has always had a love for learning. She, myself and my brother, she made sure to instill in us a love for learning as well. And I think that thread of learning, loving to learn, just streams through my life in terms of my spiritual calling, my vocational call, being able to use that love. And the gift that I'm blessed with to help other people. And in turn, I'm blessed. So whenever we share something, whether it be our love for learning or our love to help other people or our love, whatever it is, whenever we give it out, we give it back. So I think that just learning has always been something that I've always loved. And I just, I believe that God just used that love of learning just as a common thread throughout my life.
Yeah.
Even, like I said, even in the family, even what we're doing now in ministry, just learning and walking alongside others and sharing knowledge, and sharing information and sharing that passion that we have for different things helps to cultivate us into the people that we're meant to be, into the people that God created us to be. So as we're walking alongside others, that's where that self-discovery, it begins to unfold like a flower. Oh, now I'm understanding. I'm realizing a bit more of my purpose because I'm in community, and I'm able to understand who I am because others are around me who are also sharing their knowledge and sharing their wisdom. And it's helping me to reflect on who I am.
Ooh, that's it's beautiful. I'm getting a little teary-eyed, and I think the reason why, I'm a big baby already. I had to go ahead and put your mission down here at the screen. I want you all to really read that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because sometimes, most times, a lot of times, we go through stages in our life, and you might be in that stage, somebody who is listening right now, where you feel like you just are in this by yourself, you're alone, you don't have anyone. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to get around people who are doing these three things that I love the way that Pastor Dixon educates. People who are like, find that showing respect, having a common, having genuine interest in you, and that and you do the same, right?
Mhm.
I get a little teary eyed because I really do see a lot of people who really believe that they are in this alone, and that and it's something. And I honestly say it's like sometimes it's a mindset thing that we get hurt and we may not have ever come back from certain things, and we feel like I'm just going to carry this on my own. The reason I was getting teary eyed is because there is such peace in your voice. There's such peace in your mission. There's such peace in what you're doing. And so I always bring people on here who are brilliant, but you brilliantly have
Hmm.
talked to us today about how we can connect our life story, our way about teaching and parenting, even in marriage and God, like we didn't get into all of those
We didn't
things,
get to, yeah.
but and we can actually close out with a couple more of the things that you do, because I do believe that our children are watching us and in our marriages. I
Yeah.
do believe that the children are watching us in our faith. If we're confused, they're confused.
So true.
If we have disorder, then there's disorder. So I love the ministry and the mission and all of the beautiful things that you are doing. I did put on the screen, guys, and I want you all to go, and I want you to go to I don't know, it's yeah, there we go. Circle 31 International Women's Ministry. There is peace and joy when you are working with Pastor Dixon and all the many things. Find out how you can get in there. I'm going to leave her information here, because I know that if you get connected to the right people, you will win. You
Mhm.
will win. And I'm not talking about the version of winning that our world says, where we're competing against each other. But I love Pastor Dixon, how you talked about walking alongside. What does it mean to you? And how would you help somebody to win in their life that's gone through all of those things?
I think the first thing would just be to listen, to get to know them, um, and to empathize. To feel what they're feeling, to understand them, and then to provide them with hope. Listen, there's somebody here that believes that you can do it. There's somebody here to support you. There's somebody here to encourage you, to pat you on the back, to give you a hug. There's somebody here that cares.
Mhm.
We don't need the multitudes. We don't need a crowd. We don't need everybody, because we're in the habit of counting how many likes did we get, how, and the thing is, it doesn't matter how many, it's the quality
Mm.
of the people around you. And so I think I would do is just want the person to know they're seen, they're loved, and then they're valued, and let them know there is something in you that needs to come out, and that's how it started.
You're seen, you're loved, you are valuable. And
Mhm.
I will put back up here this your message, because I think that that's just powerful in itself. And there are challenges that you're going to go through. And my last question I want to ask you before we kind of go about like some of the things that you have coming up and going on is, how would you help someone today that's listening, that needs to hear you right now, overcome a challenge? Yes, we talked a little bit about being a crowd and getting with the right people, and you don't meet everybody right now. You are valuable, but right now you may be going through a challenge. You're trying to put your kids in school, or you're an educator and you're trying to manage a bunch of things. How would you help us think about over how we can overcome those things?
Okay, so you asking a pastor this, so that's the disclaimer now.
No, that's okay. This is my show, honey. Listen, if people are going to be blessed and want to go to the next level and want to have a thriving life, we are setting an atmosphere for that. And so it is what it is.
And we all go through difficulties. Life happens to everybody. Nobody is exempt from troubles. Nobody is exempt from trials, from being tested. Nobody. We all of us are walking through life and facing problems, having situations. Many of us may feel overwhelmed by what is happening in our lives. But before I feel that we can really get a handle on what is going on around us, we have to start with, who am I and who created me? And the only person that can answer that question is our creator. Jesus came to seek and save the lost. He came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. John 3:16 said, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever shall believe in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." So before we start looking at the external circumstances, because the external circumstances can be very overwhelming, unless you have an anchor, unless you have someone that is greater than you, that knows everything, that loves you dearly, who would do anything for you. And once you connect with him, and you say, "God, here I am. I can't handle life on my own." There are so many, and I would say this, once you connect with him, it doesn't mean all of your problems will go away, because the Bible says that many are the afflictions of the righteous. So people who love God still have problems. But the thing is, God delivers us from them all, and he never leaves us. See, God is the ultimate teacher. We've been talking, this is on this beautiful platform, Everybody Educate. I believe with all my heart that God is the teacher of all teachers. He is an excellent teacher. And God is more, for me, I feel like God is more concerned about the journey than he is the destination. So his concern is to walk alongside with us as we learn, as we grow, as we understand more about other people. Then we're learning more about ourselves, and he's showing us, this is how I want you to love. These are the gifts that I've given you, and this is the contribution you can make to the world. So as you're going through that, you're feeling just hopeless and helpless. When you connect with God and you ask Christ into your heart, and you begin to get that connection relationship with him, it means now you're going to begin to have a peace. You're going to start to learn more about him and his word. You're going to connect to a real Bible believing, Bible teaching community that's not religious, but it's more focused on relationship. So you can start to get that strength, because if you are feeling hopeless, it just means that you need some inner strength. You need God to fill you up. You need to be reminded that there is hope. There is peace. You just need that. So in that community of other people who are also walking alongside you, who have also connected to the creator, to God, you can grow in that way. And I want to say this. One time I was, going through something, and I was asking God, because remember I said, when you connect with God, it does not mean that your problems go away, but you have an inward peace. You have an inward way of working through things now, that you're not, you're not doing things to harm yourself to get through your problems, like maybe over drinking or overeating or doing drugs. Those things hurt your body, right? But I'm talking about now you have an inner peace, and you can hear the voice of God, and he can guide you through. I was talking to God one day, and I said, "Lord, things are just so tough." I'm like, "God, you're a God that knows everything, Lord. You know everything." I'm like, "Why can't you just fix my problem and we can just move on to something else?" And in that moment, it was like I could see a teacher, and this was God, showing me something. I saw a teacher. He was standing behind a desk, and he had all of these answer booklets in his hand. And the teacher just began to like toss the answer books out to the classroom. And he was doing it in a way, it was like almost, he was in a way of like disregard. He was just like giving the answers, and there was no care into what he was doing. He didn't care so much that the students learned. He was just tossing the answers out to the classroom, and the kids were just sitting there. And then I heard this question in my heart. It was like God was asking, "Is that what you want me to do?" So in other words, God is not just interested in giving answers. He wants to teach. He wants to show. He wants you to understand. He wants to reveal. And as we are going through this life, this classroom that we call life, God is teaching. God is showing. He's explaining. He wants you to understand more than you did yesterday, because as we are under his teaching, then we're able to be a blessing to other people and understand more of who we are. So those are just some words of encouragement. If you're going through a tough situation right now, know that there is someone, capital S, that would love to walk alongside you and provide you with that inner encouragement that you need, and surround you with other people who are moving in the right direction, who are moving in a positive direction, who are moving toward being who they are created to be, who they were meant to be in their lives, and not toward a path of destruction.
I was just like, you just keep going.
That's why I gave my disclaimer.
But I want to say this. My platform is for us to be authentically us, right? And today I thought about it, and I said, having the courage to be authentically you, but the discipline to be the best that God created you to be.
Oh, that's good.
And I woke up with that this morning. I said, "Ooh!" So I didn't know I was going to say that today here, but
That
that's
is beautiful.
everything that you just shared and how you just shared that to me. We have a teacher helping us to do that. I love that. I love it. It is. It takes courage to be the true you that God called you to be,
So
and,
true.
and be and accept it. But then it really takes discipline and good teaching, brilliant teaching. So I'm calling on all those brilliant educators out there in, you said North Carolina. I
Uh-huh.
want to say this, North Carolina, I want to let you all know that you have some a jewel there. You have a jewel. I was trying to put all the stuff in one. It's a lot right here, and I have one more. An owner, and I forgot about this. An owner of Kumon Math and of a Kumon Math and Reading Center. Brilliant educators, rise up in North Carolina. If you are in North Carolina, I want you all to comment in the chat, and I want you to say, "Hey, hey, hey," from North Carolina, and I want you to hook up with my sister because she is really helping us to make sure we are grounded and have that common ground, but have that teacher in our lives. So you want to know a secret to how, becoming a brilliant teacher? And I'll tell you, for me, I know I was called to be an educator when I was a little girl and I was told I couldn't learn. And I would play school on the porch of my best friend's house in McKeesport in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I was destined to be like, I'm going to teach. And I'm going to teach kids the way that I think that they should. I was doing that since I was a little girl when I was told I couldn't learn, because the one and only teacher taught me
Yes.
taught me about my creativity and how I
That's
best
it.
learn. And
That's
then I
it.
was able to bring it into the school system. So you saying that just gave me just so much life. I'm trying to tell you. So brilliant educators rise up, but know that the secret, one major main secret to being a brilliant educator, is to be able to be educated by the one and only, by Christ. That's my secret. I'll just be honest. My
Yeah.
secret is because every day I'm renewed. Every day I'm reminded that I'm not about to come in here and show all my power. We have a lot of issues with that dominant culture. No, I'm going to come in here to real children, human beings who have real lives. I'm going to come in and support real. When I became a coach, real teachers who are going through real things and show them love, just like Christ did for me, just like God
Mhm.
did for me. That was one of my major secrets, because there are times that I was like, listen,
Yeah.
you like, calm down. You've gone through things, they're going through things.
Mhm.
Let's go. We are not in this to be against each other, but a brilliant educator knows how to have the faith in God to guide them through to be the best educator they can be in their home, in their school, in their churches, in their communities. So thank you, Pastor Dixon, because this was on point. Oh, do you have any final words that you want to share with us?
I
Please
just
do.
I just wanted to share and just let everyone know that at Agape Global Ministries, we are preparing to launch Agape Christian Academy for children, for preschool age children. This is something that God has put on our hearts to do. We are so excited. We're going to be posting more information about it on our Facebook page. If you search up Agape Global Charlotte, it'll be our new Facebook page. If you happen to find the old Facebook page is Agape Charlotte, but on there it'll have a link to the new page. So Agape Global Charlotte, if you type it up, you'll see our logo, and that's the new page. And so we are getting ready. We are in the planning stages now, and God has given us a vision and a mission to educate children, to educate preschool age children. So we are so excited. We're going to be making announcements on the Facebook page, on the Instagram page. Instagram is Agape Charlotte as well, where we're going to have an event where we announce and put on a fundraiser to raise funds so that we can get this program started. But we're so excited that we're going to be able to provide children with a firm foundation of Christ and in education as well, and give them that first kickstart of loving to learn, and loving to learn new things, and being with other children, and learning how to cooperate and to love their neighbor, and all of those things. Follow directions, listen to authority. But it's going to be a loving environment. They're going to be nurtured, cared for, prayed over. So this is something that we will be embarking on very soon. So I just wanted to mention that before we go.
Yes, and I think I pulled it up. Is this correct? Wait, let me make sure this is right. Is this right?
Okay, yeah, that's the old page,
Oh, that's the whole
Agape
page.
Charlotte. And there should be a link on one of the posts that says click. We've moved to a new page.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So guys, if you've seen the one that I just showed you, that's the old one. So click on the link. I want to make sure you guys go. Let's take action and support this beautiful, beautiful movement.
Mm-hmm.
This is lovely. I absolutely love it. It is in line with what we do. Guys, I told you I'm connected to some amazing people around the world who really want to see children thrive. And we are creating winning classrooms
Mm-hmm.
in and outside of the normal school
Exactly.
buildings. We are in a world right now where things are changing. You have lots of options and opportunities to really give back and support our children, our teachers, our educators, and really help and work together as a community, church, school,
Yeah.
home, businesses. Guys, you've seen it all. Go back to some of our other shows and you will see that. And I want to invite, and no, what's the word I'm trying to use? You're now going to be on our wall. You're on here now. So because we had a successful and amazing show, I am the privilege to invite you. So next week, when you guys come, you will see Pastor Dixon on our wall of brilliant, beautiful educators who
Yes.
have a heart to educate. We want to thank you so much for being a part of our show. We want you all to go out. If there's any other resources or anything else that your ministry is doing, please let us know. We are in the stage of revamping our website, everybodyeducate.com, and all of the people that we interview. We want to make sure we put you guys links to your things there, all your beautiful things and brilliant things is not such a common word to say. It's like all your brilliant work and ministries and things that you're doing on our page, and so you will see that there. We are on a mission to make sure that everybody is educating with excellence and equitable practices. And Pastor Dixon and her crew are doing such a beautiful job. Guys, please make sure that you are involved in all of that, especially if you're in North Carolina, but not limited to it all, because
Right.
I met her and we've connected, and my life has been impacted by her as well. We should be impacting one another. It shouldn't be about who's doing what, how we're doing what, but how are we impacting one another and ready and able to move to the next level that God has called us to go to in our lives, our businesses, our families, and in Him, in everything that we do in our calling. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me on your platform, Queen. I really appreciate it. I love being on the show. And thank you for everything that you're doing to spread this message of brilliance in and outside of the classroom. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, one more time, you see the information for my guest today on the screen. Don't forget to go to, and you can tell us about anything else that you want us while I have this up. If we missed anything, I want to make sure I got everything.
That's it. That's everything.
It's all on here, guys. This will be in the chat, so you can click on at the Circle 31 International Women's Ministry. Go to Facebook, like we talked about earlier. Support. We want the world to be a better place. We talk about it a lot of times, but then when it comes time for action, are we taking action to support each other's businesses and support each other's missions to do that very thing, so that our children can thrive and that everyone can thrive?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Thank you, Pastor Dixon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. I want to remind everybody that your journey is your wealth, and for every step, every challenge, every triumph along the way enriches you beyond the measure of material possessions. So that's something I want to remind you all of. And then I want you to join our upcoming events that we have through Everybody Educate, presenting the Winning Classroom Summit. Listen, we know that the beginning business and the beginning of the year is cray sometimes. It's just crazy. And people are feeling stressed out. You don't have to be just an educator in the classroom to attend this summit. We will be celebrating educators. We have awards that we're giving out. We're going to be giving some plans, some really good plans that you can use to have a brilliant school year and help your students. And if your students are non-traditional students and you're online, you're in the classroom, you're even in the church, you're teaching, this is for you. You really want to have a brilliant year and teach what God has called you to teach this year. You need to be here at the Winning Classroom Summit. It is August 31st, and in more details, you'll see right in the chat. You'll be able to click on the link and go there. Please tell somebody. We're also looking for sponsors. We're also looking, because we are celebrating and we are giving awards to teachers and brilliance. And then the beautiful thing I want to tell you, we have, just like this, panel of expert educators that will be on to support culturally responsive teaching, wellness, math. We know that's a huge thing that's coming. That's, a lot of our children have like just non-traditional ways and fun ways to engage your students. So it's a good time to come and figure out how you can win this school year. So educators, sign up. Leaders, bring your teachers to this as well. Okay, and we will make sure that you are ready for the school year, and we'll help you throughout the year. And next week we have another brilliant guest. So thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Come on back on next Monday as we host another brilliant educator. And we really are talking about family. We're talking about wellness and how we are eating, because all of our body, inside out, guys, everybody is educating for our health, our ministry, our ministries, our spiritual, mental, all of it. You guys know what I'm talking about. All of the time. We need to make sure that we are good from the inside out. And so today, I hope you feel spiritually sound. I hope you feel like you were able to have some discovery of some self-discovery and know that you have support, especially with Pastor Dixon. She's thebomb.com. So we're hosting Brilliance on a Monday. We're going to get out of here right now. But I want to thank you all. And don't forget about my guests and all of the things that she has going on. So I want to end on that note. God bless you all. Take care. Bye.